Hello and welcome to Super OK, where we try to do a decent enough job to entertain people with our opinions on video games. As always, my name is Dale and I am joined here by two absolutely beautiful human beings. First up, Gannon. Gannon, it's been a minute. How are you doing?
Oh, at this exact moment, I am doing terrible health-wise. I feel like I want to die, but you know what? When you want to die, you want to spend it with the people you care about. So here I am with all the listeners and you two.
Aw. Thanks. By and you two, do you mean like and Dale and Mel are here also?
Yeah, very clearly. Yeah,
Nice.
the jokes are going to have to be explained on my behalf tonight. I'm not firing on all syllables either.
I'm not firing on all syllables is such a good turn of phrase. I love it.
I'm gonna start using it.
Yes, you also, by the way, heard Mel. Mel, how are you doing today?
Hi, I was in a mood earlier today because I got off work a little bit later than expected, and I was all over the place, hyper and chaotic. So
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that translates well today.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It definitely feels like most of the working week has been a week of Mondays, and so like, woof. But we're here and we get to record a little podcast, and we always like to start our video game podcast with a highlight of the week. It's just a thing that makes our week a little bit better, a little bit brighter, a little bit nicer to live in. Who would like to go first?
You know what? I'm going to take this rare opportunity where I'm on a podcast and Brody's not here to go first. So,
Hell yeah.
My highlight, I mean, obviously there's just been so many amazing games, and I know you guys have talked about a lot of them recently, but the one that no one has really else been enjoying with me that I've seen so far is Armored Core 6. Man, it has been amazing. I know, Dale, at some point you'll get back into it. It's a world you love, but
Yes.
man, it's just been, if you like Gundams, if you like mech building, it really scratches that itch, and there's a ton of unlockables. I played through the campaign 3 times to do all the different endings and get all the unlockables,
Nice.
and it was 100% worth it. It's definitely a FromSoft game when it comes to story, and I wouldn't say it's as strong as some of the other FromSoft titles are when it comes to like story wise. It doesn't feel as in depth as maybe a Dark Souls or Elden Ring, but you know, really have enjoyed the game overall. The gameplay is just freaking amazing, and the fact that you can make custom decals and stuff is really cool, and you can share them across the internet. I've shared in the Discord the Super OK decal that I made, which is a true to color one. I actually went and grabbed all of our color, like
All the hex codes.
all the hex codes, and
That's
like grabbed
amazing.
all of that and made it into the Discord or into the decal and put it on my mech. So I really have enjoyed the game, and like I took like some, like there's a shared website that people are just like uploading codes to, and like I got like a Triforce code and made one that kind of looks like Link, and it's been really cool. I'm just enjoying the game, and I haven't really broached the PvP world yet, but I'm excited to give it a try. So
Nice. Very nice. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the old Armored Core games, but like you said, there's just so many good games that have come out recently, and
I agree.
because it's a single player game, it's going to take a back seat to pretty much anything else that I'm playing, except for one game that we'll maybe talk about a little bit later. But I wanted to talk about how my highlight of the week is related to the fact that I have been kicked out of my house for 4 months due to insane renovations that we need to do, and so we're like on the go, and we're spending a week here and a week there, and this is our second week on the road, and I cannot explain how nice it has been to have a Steam Deck and the Steam Deck dock while we've been on the road. I have been playing through Baldur's Gate with my wife. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But we have been able to like plug in my Steam Deck to the hotel TV or to the TV in her parents' basement and just like play through it. I was on a train for 13 hours and I was able to like put in a couple hours on Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, and that was great. Ange was bored one day while I was like working on some work stuff, and she was able to just like pick it up and play some Binding of Isaac for a little while. Like, it's so amazing. I waited a year to get it, and I feel like an idiot for waiting a year to get it because it was so it's so freaking good.
Yeah.
I cannot believe it. It is without question the best console of this generation. And I say this as both a PS5 owner and an Xbox Series S owner. But I don't think that there's going to be a big enough difference between the S and the X to make me think that anything is better than the Steam Deck. It's
For sure.
so wild.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I am like so happy that you both have a Steam Deck, because I was like raving about it, like, you know, pre-release, and I was like, this is going to be amazing for all of us, and everybody's like, like, I don't think it's going to be that great. And it turned out to be wonderful for the fact that it's portable. You can play all your Steam games on there. There's so many different like games that are Steam Deck verified, so like it's perfect. It's literally a perfect console, and then you don't necessarily have to buy new games for a portable device. Like, you just use your Steam library.
Yeah,
that's and just the customizability of it all. The ability to like, I know Dale, I think you've messed around with your boot up screen right now at this point. I know that was something that a lot of people were making custom ones for, and then I know Mel, you and I have done some modding and gotten some stuff on there, which is really cool. It's the machine I'm so glad I was wrong about. I'm so glad it wasn't the Gabe Gear that we all thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
and that it was gonna like bomb like so much of their other hardware. But I guess we should have given them more respect, because the Index is an amazing console. It just was priced to a point where people couldn't really afford it. So
yeah, but I own a Steam controller and a Steam Link, and so it was really hard for me to give them the benefit of the doubt.
I agree. Yeah. Because the Steam Link and the controller were trash.
Yes. And like this, I'm carrying around an Xbox controller with me to link to it. Why can I not just link my Steam controller to it? Why doesn't it just work? Oh, because they know it's trash too.
Oh my gosh. Yay, I'm so happy. So I'll go next for my highlight of the week. Last night I got to go to a concert at what is now known again as Pine Knob. It used to be called DTE Energy Center. I don't even remember what the name was because it was fucking trash. But now it's Pine Knob. I got to go see one of my newest favorite bands, which is Spiritbox. It's a female vocalist, right? But she can not only sing like beautifully, but she also screams intensely. And she was just wonderful to see at a big venue like that. She opened up for Papa Roach and for Shinedown, which are two of my mother-in-law's favorite bands. So we got to like go with her to this particular event and got to hang out with her to see a really cool concert. All of the bands were great. Shinedown isn't really my favorite. Papa Roach wasn't my favorite, but I could really just appreciate their performance and the artistry that they have as performers. So it was a really nice time in general. Also, did you guys know that they sell pot at DTE? I didn't know that was a thing. They have a dispensary there.
I'm not surprised.
I mean, that's a fantastic use of a business. Like,
right?
There's a lot of people that are bringing it, so why not sell it there? It makes sense.
I will never forget the year. This was like 8 years ago, where my friends and I all went to go and see Meatloaf there.
Nice.
And we roll up, and my friend Jerry starts talking to these like old ladies, and then we just don't see him for the rest of the concert. And then he like links up with us like as we are walking back to the car, and he just like got smoked out by this like cadre of like 40-year-old women who were just like rocking it. And no, had to be older than 40, 60-year-old women.
Wow.
And just like Jerry and these ladies just hanging out all night, enjoying some pre-legal marijuana at this concert. And so, yeah, it brings people together. I'm glad they're doing it.
Yeah, I'm happy that they're just like accepting it, because at DTE, like the whole entire lawn, because DTE is also, for people who don't know, is an outdoor venue. So a lot of people are just smoking whatever out there, like on the lawn. So it's just cool to be able to do it in a place where it's more acceptable now.
I like how you said whatever, and realistically, there's only two options. But what if someone was smoking PCP?
I mean, I wouldn't put it past some people.
They'd have such a completely different experience than everyone else.
Oh, for sure. Imagine them like going to see fish or something like at Pine Knob. Wild.
Oh, man. Now, did you have to pay like $18 for a beer?
I didn't. I mean, it was a Tuesday, so I didn't drink. I wasn't going to pay like that crazy amount of money and have only one. You know what I mean? Like,
I get that. Yeah, especially if it's like your last resort. So,
wow. Yeah. That was a good Papa Roach reference.
Sorry, it's the only Papa Roach song I know. Oh man, that's cool. That's a good highlight.
Yeah. We can move on.
You don't want to talk about your other highlight?
I mean, like I was like thinking about it, but like I started playing Starfield, right? Because I accidentally paid for another month of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, and now the price is like $18 a month for me, and that's after taxes. And I'm like, I don't really want to do that. So I had like a month of Xbox Game Pass. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna load up Starfield, and I feel like it's been a good time, you know, like it's a game, and I'm enjoying it for the storylines, and that's about it. That's the only thing that I like about Starfield.
Now, I have heard people say that it is basically just Fallout in space.
It is, but you also get space magic, so you cannot forget about that.
So it's Skyrim in space too.
Yes. And guess what your first space ability is?
A dragon shout?
You get to foos people around with your hands.
Terrible.
I know, right? Like, and it's out of all the things that you could have had as a first like magical ability, like pick something that's not Skyrim related, please.
So are you already a stealth archer?
Yes. Surprisingly, yeah, like it's already happening. I'm sneaking around. I'm sneaking to kill people because you get twice the amount of damage for sneaking around, and I'm pickpocketing people and stealing everybody's stuff. Like, it's the same. It's literally the same.
It's a revolutionary new IP. How much building is there? Like, which Fallout is it?
There's a lot of building. So
it's 4.
Yeah, so it's 4 because there's base building, right? But the base building is definitely more advanced than Fallout 4, definitely more advanced than Fallout 76. But there's also like spaceship building, so you can like modularly like put together your spaceships in different, you know, types of like ways, I guess, and then fly it around in space. So it kind of has like that sandbox element that like Fallout and like Skyrim kind of briefly touched on, but it's definitely way more expanded in Starfield.
Makes sense. How close is it to gummy ships?
I haven't made any gummy ships, but I probably should.
Are you past the what is it, the 12 hours that everyone says you got to make it past the first 12 hours and then the game gets good? Like, are you past that 12-hour mark? Or are you still before it?
I am definitely past that 12-hour mark. I think I'm finally getting out of the prologue and into the real game.
Wait,
it's
the
fine.
prologue is legitimately 12 hours?
Yeah.
Insane. Absolutely insane.
It's like a whole like first quest.
Also insane is that this was like a half highlight of the week, and when we were talking about it before the episode went live, you described it as quote playable.
Yes, because I almost at first I said it was enjoyable, but then I was like, it's actually playable. Like it's there's so many bugs in this game that like it ruins my experience. Like it is so buggy, and it's just really unfortunate because I want to enjoy this game, but at the same time I'm getting constant crashes. Like there's like you shoot people and their necks are like floating weirdly out into space, but it's like still connected to their body somehow in a very weird like polygon way. It's awful.
That actually kind of made it so that I kind of want to play just to see that. It is downloaded. I just haven't booted it up yet. I've been doing Sea of Stars.
Fair enough. There was one point where like I was trying to talk to my companion and then have them like join me to go on an adventure or whatever. And my companion was like running back and forth between like where I was standing to like another NPC, but like just running back and forth. And I was like, where are you going, dude? Like we're going on an adventure. We should be moving along in this direction.
Was the NPC like a 4-year-old kid? Because I've seen 4-year-old kids do that too.
I mean, he's not. He's definitely a man with a kid.
Oh,
but it was not a kid.
All right. Fair enough. Well, roll for initiative.
I don't think I don't have any
dice on
near me.
On me.
Come on, man.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. Look, it's no secret that we're nerds. We have talked about D&D a bunch on this podcast in the past. Mel and I both love it. Gannon isn't super familiar with the actual game, but has played a bunch of different things that are based on it. We have spoken about it a ton in the past. And obviously, all of us love video games. We are on a video game podcast right now. And so when you combine those two things, it's going to be pretty much awesome for all of us.
Agreed.
And our partners, for the most part, do as well. All of our partners play video games. All of our partners like high fantasy, like the D&D universe, the genre, right? But just like most couples, we're going to have different tastes. And so it's weird that for Mel and I, we have somehow gotten our partner involved in our playthrough of Baldur's Gate. Gannon has been on the other side of that. He played it without his partner being involved. And so we kind of want to talk about that, kind of want to talk about what that experience has been like, how good Baldur's Gate is just in general, how it's affecting our relationships, and also maybe a little bit about our in-game relationships too. All right, Mel.
I hated that.
Yeah. Mel wrote these questions, and she the spice levels turned up to 10 here. Fucking Baldur's Gate, man. What characters are we playing as?
So in my solo playthrough, because I have 2 playthroughs, one by myself, one with my significant other, Josh. In my solo playthrough, I am playing as a elemental monk, which is fine. I don't know if I really like it as much as my other character, where I'm playing as a paladin. And I recently just switched my oath from devotion to ancient, and I don't know how I feel about it because I'm literally the only healer. So I'm having a little bit of trouble trying to not only like tank for my group but also heal for my group, because there's like that weird combination of like what am I doing now? So yeah, I honestly like my paladin way more, like in the playstyle of the paladin way more than my monk, to be quite honest.
I haven't actually touched either of those yet. I have 3 playthroughs that I'm going through.
Dang.
I have, and none of them are moving very quickly because I'm in a show right now. So my main playthrough for me, I'm a drow druid, Circle of the Moon, so shapeshifter.
Nice.
I started as Circle of Spores, and I just wanted to shapeshift. I wanted to be able to do it, so I respect to Circle of the Moon to do a bunch of shapeshifting.
Shapeshifting is so fun.
It is. It's really fun in this game. And then Clay and I are doing a tactician run. That's just the 2 of us. I'm doing a half orc ranger, and that's really fun. I do a lot of damage.
I bet.
It's a good time. But my favorite character is it's in the Xando playthrough. It's a dragonborn. We have a whole little story going on here. I'm Xando Duke Lion is our father.
A human male.
a human male. Clay and I are his adopted children. We are 2 dragonborns, 1 gold, 1 silver.
Cute.
I am named Null the Inadequate, and he is just the adequate. and I am a wild magic sorcerer. So it's getting spicy, and the Dale's around there just looting everything. So
Yeah, I'm playing as a deep gnome rogue in that game, and because this is also my third playthrough, like Xando will just be like in conversation, and I will be looting the entire area while the NPC is distracted.
Nice.
So it's pretty good. Also, I don't know if you're aware of this, but you can pickpocket your own party members.
Oh my god, really?
And so that's a lot of fun. And they don't know what you stole, but they do see that like Dale succeeded on a pickpocketing check, you know? So they know that I'm stealing something, but they don't know from who or from
Or
where.
what? Oh my gosh.
But what's really funny is even in multiplayer, you can just move stuff across. So it's like I stole a ring from Ganon and he just like opened the inventory and took it.
now you can lock your inventories to prevent that if you wanted to.
I could, but you know, then I'd just be stealing and you couldn't get it back, and that doesn't seem half as fair.
Yeah.
It's amazing. My other 2 characters in my solo playthrough, which I'm probably never going to go back to, I have a Pact of the Tome Warlock, which is based off of like a real D&D character that I was playing before that. And then in the playthrough with Ange, we have a Tiefling Oath of the Ancients Paladin.
Nice.
That we have really been enjoying.
Yeah.
Aside from that motherfucker, like, you've lost something. And then it's like, oh, come on. And then I got to restart the save because I don't want to break my oath. So, yeah.
How dare you? How are you breaking your oath?
Accidentally, most of the time.
There's no way you can accidentally break your... I've never once broken my oath as a paladin.
Are you Ancients? Ancients is really easy because if you mess with a squirrel or something that you're not supposed to, like it breaks it.
Yeah, it's very strict. I don't want to spoil anything, but I accidentally broke my oath like 15 minutes into the game. Like almost immediately after crash landing. It's crazy. So yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's our first question. Second question that Mel wrote was, why is this game so good? I'll take a stab at this one to start. I think this game is so good because it really does an excellent job of capturing the essence of Dungeons and Dragons, which is a world in which nearly anything is possible, where they have thought of all of the different ways to do out of the box solutions, and have prepared for that possibility in the game. And so it makes it feel like a world where literally anything is possible. Obviously not anything is possible.
Sure.
There's rope in the game and you can't ever use it, right? But like outside of that, I don't think there's a thing in the game where I have been like, oh, I want to do X and I haven't been able to do X.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one thing that in the discussion it should always be brought up, so I'm going to bring it up, is that this game is a game that did benefit from a year plus of early access, with a huge player base, with a lot of patches. And I know that we've had a lot of discussion about like the merits of early access. I think that this is a strong case for why early access can succeed when you have a team that is as passionate as the Baldur's Gate team is. Also, I mean, if you've read any of their interviews with the Larian staff, they've specifically said things like not working on DLC right now, not doing things that they don't want to be bought up by a larger publisher because they don't want to be pushed. It is a labor of love. These people clearly love D&D. They loved D&D back when they were doing Divinity Original Sin, and then they actually got the rights to the game. or to the universe of
Right.
D&D. So it's definitely something that's important to call out as well too, is that you have a ton of preparation and a ton of play tested time to get to this point.
Yeah.
It definitely feels like a very well polished game. And that's I think the one thing that makes the game so good for people who are jumping right into Baldur's Gate for the first time is that there are barely any crashes, there's barely any bugs, and that's completely game breaking. Other than following a very specific romanceable character, and that was kind of weird for a little bit until they came out with the patch. But like at the same time, like they are like the team is very much on it. They're aware and they're transparent, where I feel like a lot of really big game developers are just not. And on top of that, too, like I cannot believe at how much voice acting is involved in this game and how well every single character is developed in this game. It is mind-boggling to be able to feel and believe in these characters when you're playing through it, and that you want to help them on their journeys, their own personal journeys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the fact that you can steal everything. I love being able to steal everything.
And you've got that infinite chest back at camp that you can send it all to.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I agree. And to your point, you talked about the patches. Like, they have been so fast about patches and finding bugs and fixing bugs and communicating with the player base. And it's been absolutely astonishing to see the level of support that they have offered after this game has come out. I know it's like it was in early access, but it still feels like they have that same level of responsiveness that they did prior to it releasing. And that is not something that you see from a lot of game studios. So cool. Gannon, here is a question specifically for you. How friendly is this game if you've never played the tabletop version of Dungeons and Dragons?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. I will say that first night that I was playing, there were some moments of large frustration of like, wait, what? I felt like it didn't hold your hand in any sort of way. It didn't make me feel like I was learning the game as to and learning the systems as much. And thankfully, I mean, I had you guys there to explain D&D. I had Dale and Clay in there when I was playing through, and I learned a lot from them and their experience. And I would be interested too, because I played my first few hours of the game was in early access, which is a different starting experience than it is now. So I'm interested to see how the beginning of this version, which is a more expedited tutorial area, would feel as a first-time player, if you're not familiar with the D&D world. It is, I would say, a little easier because the combat is not as intense. So I think it does ease you into combat a little bit more fluidly. But I will say, even for people who know D&D, I was watching people who've played D&D before going on their first playthrough, and they were dying in areas that I had made it past, but that's because I had talked with Dale and with Clay, and they had learned the systems of the game a little bit more. So if you even as a someone who's not super in depth in the rules of D&D, I think it could use a little bit more entry level forgiveness.
Yeah,
for sure. And that's how Josh felt too when he started playing the game, because he was watching me play it for the first time, and he was very overwhelmed with all of the options, because there's in Baldur's Gate, there's sometimes too many options. And if you don't know the systems, or the level up systems, for instance, when you hit level 4 and seeing the full list of feats, you would be I have no idea what this is. And I don't know how this would work with my character, or what synergizes with which classes, and it's very overwhelming. And I feel this game doesn't do a very good job of telling people this is how the levels up systems would work. Give me a suggested route, so that I don't have to think about it, right? And same thing with if you're playing a single player playthrough, how difficult it is to do that same thing, to level up every single character and then manipulate the movements and actions of all those different classes. It's almost too much to handle.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. What's interesting is I have been playing D&D since 1997. And so for me, the biggest learning thing was what they've changed in D&D to this, right? So like, for instance, in this game, if somebody is knocked down to 0 hit points and they're like rolling their death saves, they're unconscious, you can use the help action to get them up, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But in this game, anyone who gets up from being unconscious doesn't have their action, because it takes your whole action to stand up from being prone on the ground, which is not the case in the tabletop version of the game. The tabletop version of the game, it just costs half your movement to do that, right? And so I spent the first 5 hours of the game like, why don't I have my action? Like, I used healing word. I am up. I should be able to like attack now. And I could not figure out why. And it wasn't listed anywhere. It's just like, this is what they chose to do. This is how they chose to change it. And so it's really interesting hearing it from both sides of like, no, I'm super well versed in the rules. And I also was disoriented at times. So, you know, it's interesting. For the record, I do think that using the help action to get someone else up is a really good change for a video game, by the way. So pretty cool. All right. Next question, as written by Ultra Spiced Mel, spiced out of her frickin' gourd. Quote, who you fucking does/would your SO approve?
So this is a question for me that hurts my soul. It hurts my soul so much because I had someone who I wanted to just go. The character Karlach is someone who like I resonated with. I love her demeanor. I love her canter, and I was like, this is who I'm gonna bang. But before they patch things, a series of events in Act 2 happened to me, even though I played it beautifully, and somebody got taken that wasn't supposed to be taken, and then I lost a village. And that killed the person that was able to help me get Karlach to be able to not be too hot to touch.
That happened to you? Like that?
Yes, it did.
Oh my god.
Yes, it did. So my solo playthrough, which is the only one that's made it that far, has made it so that I cannot romance and fuck the person that I want to.
You can never romance. Oh wow.
No. So my character has just gone scorched earth, and this has fucked everybody that they can so far. So they fucked Gale and they fucked Lae'zel just because they're like, well, I can't be with the person I love. We're gonna raise the body count. Let's go.
Wow.
Oh man. Now you said before they patch things. Are you talking about the horniness patch?
No. So in an encounter in Act 2, you're supposed to protect somebody. That was deemed it was happening too quickly that people would like. It was literally on turn 2.
Yeah.
I had
6 people attack at once after I even spent actions to give health and protect and killed people, and more people came in and it killed that person, and I lost that town. Which then made it so that I couldn't progress unless there's something else later in the game. I am just getting into Act 3 right now. I haven't played much more, but from everything that I've seen, if you lose the person that can help lower her heat and work on her infernal heart, like there's no way to bring that back. So Clay was there when that happened. When I realized that, I was raging. I was so sad. I was like, I worked so hard. This is the one person I care about in my party. Like it's the only person I care about their approval for right now.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I don't think this is gonna happen. I can't use infernal iron, and it's killing me.
Wow.
That's rough. That's real rough.
That's a RIP. Like I am so sorry for your loss. Because Karlach is literally like one of the companions that like I would love to like, you know, have relations with, because she's just so cool. Like I love everything about her. She's just good people in general.
Yeah, she got great vibes.
She's got really great vibes. And then the other person I think that had really good vibes too, and this is the one in my solo playthrough that I am pursuing is Will. Like I love Will and Karlach together as companions because they have such good chemistry as individuals and as together. And I was like, I want to be a part of that. So like there are I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of pursuing them both right now. So
okay,
we're gonna see what happens.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
You gonna try to pull a Witcher?
If possible. I mean, like there are some dialogue that alludes to the potential of a Witcher scenario. And in one instance, it didn't happen with certain characters. What does it happen with other characters? I'm so desperate to find out.
Now, not to put you on the spot here, Gannon, but you introduced this into the lexicon. Not all of our listeners will have played The Witcher. What do you mean?
So in The Witcher, there are a few people that you can romance, and you can choose to romance both of them. If you do, they take it out on you though. So I'm interested to see if that happens in this game. But you're able to get to the point where you got two partners that are both willing to get it on. As Mel so eloquently put in our show notes, they be fucking.
Fucking.
Both of you skipped the question, would your significant other approve?
Yeah, I think Bridget would want me to fuck Karlach. Bridget would want to fuck Karlach.
Good.
100%.
I think Josh and I talked about it, and he'd be like, yeah, go for that threesome.
Perfect. Nothing bad has ever come from one of those. I am romancing Shadowheart.
Okay.
The BTGGF of this game. You can Google that. I think I can fix her, guys. I think I can fix her. Yeah, I don't know. I like the idea of the cleric with like memory loss and that sort of thing. Gannon just Googled it and figured it out.
I like it.
Yep. But yeah, Ange does not like the fact that I'm romancing Shadowheart. She wants me to romance Will. Yeah. And I get it. Like Will is a stand-up dude.
He is a stand-up dude.
So I totally understand that. Ange is a big fan of the like stereotypical protagonist. So I understand completely.
Will's just hanging out in my camp doing nothing. That's what he's doing in my playthrough.
Oh man, I love Will. He's great. He's absolutely excellent. So speaking of significant others, what are some of Josh's gaming preferences?
Josh. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
And does he have a D&D history?
Josh does not have a D&D history. He has like watched me play D&D before and has like listened in on it, but he doesn't really have like a significant attachment to D&D. Most of his gaming preferences is more along the lines of like RPGs, open world RPGs, and first person shooters. He's not a big fan of like tactical games. He's not a big fan of like strategic games. So playing Baldur's Gate's a very different experience for him.
Yeah. He's also pretty solid at FPSs. And so
for sure. Yeah.
Like this is a pretty far departure for him. Mm-hmm. What about Bridget?
She her gameplay is usually like pretty limited stuff. It's usually pretty surface level games. She's liking some farming simulator stuff. She likes that Disney like farming game,
Dreamlight Valley.
Dreamlight Valley. Yeah, she enjoyed a little bit of Marvel Snap. So no real D&D history. She's interested in D&D though. As a group, we have some friends up in Michigan. When we were up there, we were chatting with them, and one of the things they started doing as a couple during the pandemic was D&D. And she loves board games, so I don't I don't think it's too much of a stretch. The big thing is just with both of us with the kids, it's really difficult to find time that we're both ready to sit down and do something of that level. So
For sure.
Yeah.
but she definitely is interested in the D&D world.
Yeah. Cool. As far as Ange, she's been on the pod before. She loves a roguelike. She loves a like brutally difficult video game. She has like hundreds of hours in Binding of Isaac. She played Hollow Knight until she couldn't beat a thing because she's bad at jumping.
I feel that.
Yeah. She also is like so ridiculously persistent. She like 100%ed Hades, which if you've played Hades, you know that is a feat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's the type of game that she normally plays. She has never played D&D, but she absolutely loves listening to the Adventure Zone, which is an actual play D&D podcast.
Wow.
And so she has some familiarity with like the rules and that sort of thing. But the part that she always cared about is the story, not so much the gameplay or the like crunch of it.
Right.
Not the strategy of it, but the story. And so the way that we've been playing through this is I basically am in control for all of the combats. And then every dialogue we talk through like, okay, what should we do? Like as a paladin, like what would our paladin do here, you know? And sometimes most of the time we agree. Every once in a while we disagree. Sometimes she gets her way, sometimes I get my way, but either way, and every once in a while one of us gets our way, me, and that results in our entire party getting wiped out, and so I have to reload, and then she gets her way anyway. So
are you guys rolling for that decision?
No,
or is it just a trade-off?
We aren't. It's usually just like, you know what, yours is probably closer, you know, like that sort of thing, because the dialogue in this game is so good that it's like all of these are things like I want to do that one, but I want to do it because it's what I want to do and not because it's what our character would do, you know, like that sort of thing. So it's just so interesting that it's like you can have those sorts of conversations between two people who are essentially role playing as one person in a game, and it still translates. It's really, really cool. And so that leads directly into the next question of like, how were they like, oh, Baldur's Gate seems cool, what got them interested in it? I was playing Baldur's Gate for like 10 hours and I was like, the story in this is so amazing, Ange would love it. I have to stop, I have to start over so way Ange can see it from the beginning and we can play through it together. And it has been an absolute delight. Most nights now, instead of like watching TV or anything like that, we'll sit down, boot up Baldur's Gate and play for like 4 hours together. It's absolutely wild.
I love that.
Yeah. And she'll like be like working or like tapping her Infinity Island animal. She's still playing Infinity Island.
God,
if you want to talk about persistence, she's still playing Infinity Island.
I can't believe Brody got her addicted to that.
Yeah, it's a real I mean, it's just a testament to how devoted she is to anything that she takes a shining to. But she'll be doing that while I'm like in combat, and then it'll be like, oh, like read me the lore of the stained glass window or whatever. And that's the part that she cares about, you know, like the character interactions, the story, the lore of the world, like all of those are the things that she really enjoys. What about Josh?
Josh actually first was very interested in Baldur's Gate, probably because he heard that you could fuck a bear.
That checks out. And honestly, I was surprised nobody said that they were romancing Bear Man.
I mean,
he is no longer in my playthrough because of the events that led to me not being able to fuck Garlack.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Worst timing. He went to the town to go help somebody, and then he was in the town when it turned, and I got fucked again.
What a horrible incident to happen to you, man.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
Oh, man. God, I feel so bad for you, man.
Like, it was the one hit when I learned that Karlach was not going to be able to, and then I was like, well, at least I could figure out the rest of the storyline with Halsin, and then I realized he wasn't in my camp anymore.
Oh, heartbreaking. He just like left because he couldn't like fulfill his duties either.
No, he legit, no, he went to the like, there's a quest line in that town where he goes like, I'm going to go talk to this person.
Right.
So he went to go talk to the person, and then he got turned into.
He got turned into as well?
Killed him.
Holy snap. I did not realize that was a choice. But
it wasn't a choice. It was taken from me.
It was taken. Oh, yikes.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, so when Josh heard about that, he was like, Baldur's Gate, like, that's kind of cool, but, like, it's still, a tabletop RPG. I'm not super interested in that. And then I started playing it, like, on Discord, and I was, like, talking to my friend Lyle, like, about how great this game is, and we were just, like, gushing about it, like, within the first act or whatever, and he's like, oh, I think, like, is there multiplayer? And I was like, yeah, there's multiplayer, and he's like, so that means I can play with you? And I was like, yeah, there's even, like, couch co-op for it as well. Like, it's not something that they explicitly say it's there in the game, but it's there and we can try it out.
Yeah.
So we hooked up one of our computers to like a big screen TV and like played just me and him. The first, like, on the ship, you have to defeat the commander or whatever. We were doing that together, and he really enjoyed it. He loved the ability to like problem solve and get through like these combats together, and he loved the storyline of like where it was going, that he was just like, I need to buy this game. Like, I can't, he's like, I love you. I love this game, but I can't play couch co-op with you because there's so many limitations in terms of like how we can play together. And I was like, if you buy the game on PC, you have more accessibility to do X, Y, and Z. And he was just like, yes. So he's been loving just the storyline, the combat, just being able to play with friends. And he was already talking like within like the first like few hours. He's like, what happens if we did an evil playthrough? Like, what are the choices I have for that? Like, is it going to be significantly different? And I'm like, oh yeah, it's going to be like, very, very different. He's like, I want to play that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I absolutely love that. Gannon, would Bridget like this game? And if yes, how can we convince her to play?
I think the answer is yes. I think the way that we convince her to play is our children need to grow up enough that they don't require as much attention during the day when I'm at work. And by the end of the day right now, we just find that like she wants to like turn off her brain a lot of the nights and like watch TV.
Fair. Yeah.
And this is definitely not a game that you turn off your brain for.
Not at all.
She's definitely interested in it. Like, and she doesn't want to do, because I kind of told her what you were doing, Dale, and like explained that. And she was like, am I going to be the hat again? I don't want to be the hat again. Like, I want to have a character if I'm going to do this. I'm like, okay, cool. We'll just wait. And the game's not going to go anywhere. So we'll figure out some time to make a playthrough before it and go that direction. So
and this game is infinitely replayable. So
totally.
Yeah. And what's so cool, if you haven't been following in the patch notes, is like the ability to do drop in now is so good.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
Anybody can just like jump in. Like if she wanted to, she could jump in Discord. We could play, like she and I could play, or like if she wanted, like if you guys were online, you could just jump in and then we can shelf that character, which is really cool. So
yeah. That's cool. Speaking of characters, the other day I had the pleasure of watching the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life, which is where you let your daughter, Charlie, make a character in Baldur's Gate 3. First off, where did you come up with this brilliant idea? And secondly, please describe one of her perfect creations for us.
So the reason that I came up with this idea is that she absolutely, her favorite game right now, she's got 3 games that she plays on the iPad when she gets game time, and one of them is like a Lego game. The other 2 are these Crayola games where she gets to like create these pets and then like take the pets and do things, but like most of what she wants to do is create the pets. And she's like so excited when she gets to make a
Nice.
new pet. And we just had some time that like we were hanging out at the computer. We normally do game time together before bedtime, and she was sitting next to me and she saw it on the screen, and I asked her if she wanted to make a character because I thought, you like making characters, and she absolutely loves it. She absolutely loved making it. It usually is when you guys heard tonight when she was talking through it's usually a bunch of fun colors in the hair.
Mhm.
Blue and purple, green sometimes is in there as well too. I think her biggest gripe with the game is the outfits at the beginning. I think she wants more outfit choices, but it's
Yep.
limited to class. But I think her best creation so far is the first one, which was her barbarian, because she liked like that we were able to show off the tattoos and stuff, where it had like a bunch of fun colors in the tattoos, because they have like the least amount covering it up. So she also made a bard because she really likes that opening outfit, and she really likes that. But they're usually either tieflings or she's made a drow. She hasn't really. I was surprised that she was not excited about the dragons. She loves
Really?
dragons, but she did not want to make a dragonborn. So we'll see. We'll make more. I
Yeah.
have like 3 characters that just haven't started. They're just made and then close the game.
Fun.
I love it. Right before we recorded this episode, Mel had the opportunity to interview Charlie and ask some questions about her favorite character. Would you like to read the exact quote that I wrote down here from her?
She said, "Blue and purple hair is my favorite. Blue skin is her favorite color skin too." So when asked about the favorite color hair and favorite color skin, it was blue. Blue is her favorite color, so it all makes sense. She loves that. But her room is purple, so that also has been a favorite for a long time.
It all checks out.
It was so cute. That kid is so cute. All right, real talk. Is this game of the year worthy?
I'm gonna say it's hard to say no. It's like I feel like this. There's some amazing games this year, and they all are revolutionary for like their own, or like they're the pinnacle of their own like genre. But I feel like this game is something that we haven't seen in a very long time. And the fact that a CRPG has the amount of player base that this game has is ridiculous. It's and like you said, the amount of options, the amount of time. I feel like it would be a disservice to not give them Game of the Year because of the amount of effort that's been put into this game.
I would agree. I also feel like CRPGs are super niche, but the fact that they were able to capture a new audience for this particular genre because of how well the game has been developed is just astounding. I'd put that up there with Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And it's hard for me to say which one is better because they are both masterpieces in their own right. Like I just don't know if it's good, if it's more mainstream enough to beat Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Interesting. I definitely think it's up there in contention for me. This is a game that I had on my radar and was honestly not super excited about. Right. I really enjoyed like Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance back in the day, like that sort of thing. But also I didn't think like, oh, I have enough time to sink into like a CRPG. They're notoriously long. They're notoriously like really, really story heavy. And I did not anticipate I was going to enjoy this game as much as I am. Conversely, I have been hyped on Bomb Rush Cyberpunk for like 5 years now, right? It finally came out, and I have not put as much time into it as I would like because I've been playing Baldur's Gate so much.
Oh, for sure.
And it's not a knock on Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. That game is glorious. It's beautiful. It sounds amazing. It's an absolute delight to play. But Baldur's Gate just has its freaking hooks in me, man.
Yeah.
And any game that does that has to be in contention for Game of the Year. So I have a controversial question for you guys. Do you save Scum, yes or no? And why if you choose to do it or if you choose not to?
In my solo playthrough, no. The one that I'm trying to experience the game as it is intended, no. But I mean, how long did we save scum trying to kill that stupid commander? Like 2 hours.
For sure.
And then the next time that I played with Clay, we just took the cleric and did command drop. That was so much smarter.
You can do that? That is an option that you can do in this game where you can have him drop your weapon and he doesn't do any damage to you, because I spent fucking 5 hours save scumming that motherfucker.
Yeah, we were like, you know what? Like, we were looking at cleric, and I was like, command drop. Wait, it says drop weapon. What happens when, like, I've dropped my weapon in other fights, like later in the game? He drops the weapon, you pick it up, you can equip it and start beating him with it.
Shut your fucking face.
Oh, probably should give a spoiler alert before that, but man, it just shows
the first 15 minutes of the
first
game.
15 minutes of the game, like it's so amazing. But yeah, with saves coming for other things, I try not. I mean, you've heard about, like, I got super close with the Karlach thing when I realized, but then I was like, dude, I can't do it. I've committed to not save scumming.
Yeah. I am save scumming because I want to play the game how I want to play it, right? Because I want to be able to see the options of like how I want the game to evolve into. But I know I'm gonna play this game again, like, and that's where the save scumming is just not gonna happen, because I already got my fill the first time around, so now I get to see all the other options the second time around. That's kind
fair.
of my thought process.
That's fair. I save scum in 3 scenarios. One, when it is a, like, I don't get the result I want on a check that shouldn't, in my opinion, shouldn't be a check, right? Where it's like, oh,
Interesting.
you know, I am like talking to a character and I make a good point and oops, I rolled too low. So it's like, well, fuck that. I'm just going to restart and do it again. Right. If I'll burn through my inspiration. I don't care about that. The second time is if I have a choice that I make that results in a total party kill, a TPK. In that case, I will obviously, rewind back far enough to where it's like, all right, no, I'm clearly going to make different choices this time, because you really don't have an option there.
Right.
And then the third time, and this is a thing that I really only experienced last night for the first time, is when the game is bullshit. So like last night I was trying to like disarm a trap, and I'm next to it. I have the disarm option, but for some reason, my fucking rogue walks in front of the trap to disarm it. And so he sets it off, and then the disarm thing goes, and I roll, and I succeed, and I've disarmed the trap, but I've already triggered it. And so now I am knocked into a pit. And I'm like, I'm not using a fucking scroll of Revivify on that. I'm restarting the game.
That's
right?
fair. Yeah.
So those are the 3 scenarios where I save scum.
That's fair. I will say I would like to amend then. I have reloaded because I have died or people have died in fights, and I don't want to deal with that. But from a lore or RPG element, I never do. I rolled a 0. I rolled a nat 1 on a 0 check, and I lived with it. I failed a 0 check.
Like, why is there a 0 check? Come on, man.
Yeah, just let it play through. Like, I don't.
The 5% chance. I rolled a nat 1. I failed it.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's ridiculous. All right. Does playing Baldur's Gate 3 make you want to play D&D?
Yes and no for me. For me, I really want to experience D&D, but I am concerned because I'm not doing it in person, that it's not going to have the same magic that I think we get by having a medium like Baldur's Gate right now. It gives us a way to play the game remotely with people that I think is it is a nice framework, especially with all of the other distractions of being remote. When if I were to be like, if I'm going to be in the room with the three of you and another person or two other people, like we had a party and we were in a room, I think yes, 100%. But I'm concerned about the restrictions of being remote, and then the setup, the time frame, and a lot of that's just taken care of by loading up the save that's in Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. My answer for this, I already wanted to play D&D, and this is making me want to play D&D so much more. It's insane. I have been planning my own campaign. I am going to steal so many sweet ideas from this. Not like story beats, but just like things like encounter design and the verticality and every encounter being interesting. Like they have done a masterful job of making sure that combat stays interesting in this game. And they have done it in a wide variety of ways. And I'm going to take all of that. I'm just going to gobble all of that up. So that's going to be amazing. What about you, Mel?
Yes, this does make me want to play D&D. And I always am thinking about like, what's my next D&D character? And just Baldur's Gate just scratches like that D&D itch that like I've been waiting for a very long time. And my current D&D like campaign, like it's fine. Like it's fun. It's all online. They're with people that I don't really know very well, so it's kind of like one of those things where like I need to be with the right group of people for it to be like that more, enjoyable. And I don't get to see anybody's like, facial expressions when like we're talking. So I would love to do like a webcam type thing for an online adventure. But yeah I would love to play more D&D in general.
Cool. Then it worked. I am subscribed to like D&D Beyond, which is like the online D&D stuff. And for the past like 3 weeks, every day they're coming out with new videos about like mind flayers in your game and like adding this ability. And they had a promo where you could get like all of the Baldur's Gate character sheets for free and like all of this stuff. Yeah, it is. It's very cool, but they know exactly what they're doing here. It's a full court press. Also, if you haven't watched the D&D movie yet, it rules. It's so good, and I think it's out on streaming now. So yeah, definitely check it out. All right, moving on to our last question. This is sponsored by Volo's Guide to Monsters, which is described as, quote, a totally honest and candid take on the denizens of Faerun and beyond by an infinitely capable doctor and knitter. I'm not sure why he put something about knitting in there. Wasn't my call. But imagine if you had to replace a part of your body with a magic replacement. What would you give up? What part of your body would you give up? And what would you want the new thing to have?
I kind of wish I had male parts because that would be the only thing I would change magically. I think it'd be really funny to just have a male appendage, a magical appendage.
When you said male parts, I thought you meant male like chain mail or plate mail.
No, you said body part.
No, you mean your parts, your bathing suit region.
Yes.
The bathing suit region.
I mean, like, which guy wouldn't?
But what's like the mat? Like, is it like? Does it have the ability to change size? Like,
it's like a Ranma 1/2 where you can flip back and forth. Like, what's the deal?
Is it a druid penis so it can change into any sort of penis of any other animal? Shapeshift,
yeah. I think shapeshifting would be amazing, right? Like, why not?
You get that duck corkscrew penis
if you wanted
crazy.
Yeah, why not?
All right.
Oh man, that was a great answer. I don't even want to follow up with that.
I think that's probably the best answer. But Gannon, what do you got?
I mean, I have terrible eyesight, and I trust Volo and his ability to replace one of my eyes. So you know what? I'd replace an eye. Something that could like see through walls and like
that'd be cool.
Laser vision and stuff like that. Like it could be like a bionic eye, like just be able to see invisibility, and not that that's really happens in real life, but like I could see things that would make my life easier, like job wise. Like I could see Wi-Fi. It'd be cool to be able to like see like different levels of radiation of things and like be able to like map out areas. Be really cool to be able to like look into a room and like get the dimensions of the room, just like weird stuff like that. I think ocular is the way I would go.
Ganon wants specialized.
I also have like terrible vision, so it'd be really helpful to be able to see better. And if I replaced only one, I could get a monocle, and I think I'd look great as with a monocle.
Man, I legit ran into a character yesterday who has this crazy ass monocle in Baldur's Gate 3, and that looks so cool. I think you would look awesome with a monocle, man. I absolutely think you'd look. Have you considered 2 monocles?
2 monocles.
I think I'm already kind of doing that.
No, man, those are spectacles.
Okay.
I want 2 monocles. I want 2 chains, 1 to each monocle.
The problem with monocles, right, is you kind of have to like squint your face in a little bit to keep it in place.
Yeah.
So to do both, that would not be fun. Like, yeah, you guys are both doing it right now. That is not a nice feeling for your face.
If you're listening at home, try it. Try to double. What you imagine double squinting monocles would be. It's
you got to keep your eyes open so you can still see.
Yeah,
it's a good time.
Yeah, squinting and keeping your eyes open is very difficult for me.
Yeah. My initial answer, but it was kind of stolen by Mel, was prehensile penis. So I wanted to be able to like cast spells, right? Like now I can have a sword and a shield and a wand. But since you kind of stole that answer,
keep going with it because mine was shape shifting. Yours is like casting magic out of it.
Yeah, you know, should we rename this question? What would the subclass of your penis be? Because it could be really fun to be monk. You would get a ton of extra attacks.
Flurry of blows.
Oh my god!
Sounds like a good time.
We're going to have to put a warning at the beginning of this episode.
But please also in the Discord, tell us what your favorite subclass of penis would be and tell us why. I can't wait to read these.
Oh my god, yes.
Yes, please.
What if you had a wild magic penis?
Oh god.
You'll never know what's coming out of it.
I don't know. We got to move on. Give me a left hand that can shoot fire or something. I don't know. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Okay, I can breathe again.
Oh, actually, I want a left hand that can cast guidance. Being like 5% better. No, it's not 5%. Being
it's like 20%.
Being 20% better at literally everything in my life sounds pretty good. God, man, absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Whew. I don't have anything witty. Fuck you, Dan. My brain is totally spent. Totally spent. You guys have anything else you want to talk about Baldur's Gate?
I'm just stuck on the penis conversation, so no, I got nothing interesting to say.
I am so mad. We are recording this on Wednesday, and we have to wait until Tuesday to talk about it in the Discord, and I am so upset that this conversation is going to be stuck in my head until then.
Yeah, I feel like I need to talk to somebody about it like as soon as we end this.
Like a therapist, yeah.
Like what is your subclass for your penis?
Yeah. Oh my god. All right. Yeah. Amazing. Tell the people where you can be found.
I'm just hanging out in the Discord at night now and get there post-rehearsal time, so probably everybody's in bed. And you can find me playing fighting games or Valorant because I like Dan or something like that. So
you're on Blue Sky now too.
I am on Blue Sky. You're correct. Thanks for remembering, Dale.
I definitely forgot the other day. I am a 20-sided ninja in the Discord and on Blue Sky.
I am Melephant. You can find me on Discord as Melephant on the Discord and on Blue Sky. My brain just literally stopped working like as I was talking. But yeah, I'm Melephant. Hi. Or goodbye, because we're ending the episode.
Yeah, exactly. All right. If you are still listening, Godspeed to you and whatever you're going to do after this. Congratulations for somehow making it to the end. We hope you have a super okay day. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye, y'all.
My penis cast disengage.
Run away.
Oh, he's got that rogue dick. Bye.